How's it going?
Busy.
I guess it sounds like it.
How's your show going?
Great.
Did you
Great.
open and
It just not opened yet.
not yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Whose hollyhocks are those?
It's Hollyhocks. Oh, that's Nina Jerome. She's a Maine artist.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? We're having a.
We're gonna have a conversation with some questions.
Okay, go ahead. Hit
Let
me.
me move this desktop around a little bit. Hold on, I can't see them. There we go.
How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing well. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Sorry, I need to make a few adjustments here. I need to catch both of us on the screen.
I've on my painter's shirt.
Allison said you haven't painted yet today.
I'm revving up. I've been in meetings since I walked in the door.
That's a lot. It's hard to do that all day.
Big sculpture projects and botanical garden shows of the sculpture and a million things. It's great. So exciting.
Where are the botanical garden shows taking place?
All over America, but
Okay.
they won't start till year after next.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. So my first question. is, and this is really to connect you to Maine for the Maine audience. You were born here in Kittery, I believe.
Yes.
But I don't.
I
Yeah. Yeah. You didn't spend a lot of time as a child, though. I'm thinking. Is that right? Because you traveled.
My dad was at MIT and they were summering there.
Right. Right. But then you came to the Skowhegan School of Painting and Sculpture.
Yes, I did. Then I came back for a show at the Colby Museum.
Uh-huh.
And, I've been in other shows at the Farnsworth, and I had a show at Bowdoin.
Yeah.
Quite a few things. I used to show at the gallery in Brunswick.
Yeah.
Long
Was that O'Farrell Gallery?
It was.
Yeah. I had Nina Jerome. You asked about those hollyhocks. She showed at O'Farrell.
Maybe that's why I'm asking.
Maybe you recognized it. Who knows? Did anybody that was at this Skowhegan school as a teacher or as a student, does anybody stand out for you?
All of them do. It was a really pivotal experience in my life. I had been in school in the South. I went to Vanderbilt and Tulane. And I hadn't been exposed to the Northeast as an adult in that way in the school. And we had Alex Katz as a visiting artist who played a very important role in my life and helped me get into the galleries with the longest Marlboro. He used to give me crits, and his son wrote some of the books that I have done. And we had Louise Nevelson as a visiting artist. Betty Davis was there
Yeah.
for 2 weeks, which was just wildly exciting. Richard Estes was there. Paul Georges was one of the teachers, and we had Bill Cummings. We had Richard Stent. No, we had Sylvia Stone. Sorry.
Sylvia Stone.
We had. It was heavily figurative.
Yeah. Okay.
Figurative, and we had people that I greatly admired as visiting artists. Alice Neal.
Yeah, Welver. Yeah.
Goldstein. We had Jack Levine. I mean, it was just like, for that period of time, it was such a exciting moment to meet all these people that I studied their work in school forever and have them make comments about what I was doing. And it was just a transitional moment. And the next summer was a student I'd gotten a grant to go to the Banff School of Fine Arts after graduating from Tulane. And I went there, and it was just, although I don't want to say anything about Canada, but Canada's been very good to me. I've shown there.
Yeah.
Ever. And I got my first grant from the Elizabeth T. Greenshield Foundation in Montreal. But I just made people said, don't go to graduate school, just move to New York. And
right.
I just got on a bus or something and moved to New York from Banff. I had gone to high school in Washington State, and I was just
Okay.
tired of mountains and
Now,
being so far away from the center of what was going on.
yeah. How old were you when you went to the Skowhegan school?
Well, it was between 1972 and 1973. I guess I might have been 19 or 20. I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah. I thought you were pretty young because I read you went to Vanderbilt as a young freshman, right?
1969, a young freshman.
A young, well, younger than the typical freshman, I think.
I'm not sure.
No?
I'm not sure. New York after 5 years. I thought I would move to Amsterdam. And I got a call that night from Johnny Franson at the Skowhegan School saying, would you like to live in Janet Fish's loft for free for the summer? She's going to Australia and she needs somebody to take care of her dog and things. And I did. And then she came back and she moved to Jack Beal's loft and I was able to acquire her loft. And then I got my first show in New York shortly after that. But it was a real transitional moment that
Yeah.
could have gone either way.
You could have moved away
Yeah,
easily. Yeah,
it.
yeah,
It was rough, but I had a lot of amazing experiences, and I was hired under the Cultural Council Foundation Artists Project, where I did public art for 2 years. Did a big mural at the Trade Center,
okay.
huge things for um, different schools in Harlem and Brooklyn. I painted saints for churches. It was great, and that led
Was
to
that
a series of saint paintings in my work.
was that in the late 70s, early 80s?
75,
75. Yeah,
75, 76.
okay.
That time I had shows in Guatemala and I went to I had a lot of foreign shows early on.
Have you always enjoyed travel, sort of because you were used to that growing up?
I've always hated travel because
Oh,
I had to do it growing up. We went to Japan on a 22-hour flight in 1961 and stayed for a month with my family and went to temples and went all through Japan. It was amazing, but it's always hard, and I don't, I'm not afraid of flying, but I'm not. Anyway, it's
yeah,
not my favorite thing, but I love it once I get there. And I used to be
right.
so much braver about it. I'd get on flights to India economy 20 hours later.
Right.
Monkeys to India, a crew that I was following at that time.
Wow.
Um, anyway, no, it's all part of my work. All my series are based on foreign experiences. I've had shows in the Museum of Haitian Art, the Recoleta in Argentina. I've had shows everywhere from Japan to India to Hong Kong, Norway, Sweden,
Yeah.
um, England, France, Canada, Mexico currently, Ecuador, just all over the place.
And what do you think allows those audience to connect so directly with you? Is it the subject matter? Is it the aesthetic? Is it colors? Is it just all of your accomplishments and milestone exhibition?
Well, I've had a lot of shows in Eastern Europe. I had a show at the National Gallery in Bulgaria, most recently in Kiev and Odessa, and the critics spoke so magnificently. And I don't say this from an egotistical point of view at all, but she said I was like the hands of God, and that I was bringing great joy and upliftment to the planet. And this just came out of nowhere, and it was in a palace of places that you get to show. And I showed in the marble palace of Catherine the Great, and Putin even wrote a letter of congratulations for that. In Moscow. But this woman in Odessa, I was just practically in tears.
Wow.
That's exactly my intention. And,
Right.
not many people in this country thrive on such sentiment. But anyway.
I feel that for me, I feel connected to your work on a spiritual level. I love the colors. I like the um I like the repetition of imagery. I like it being animal based. But And I can't say enough about the variety of mediums and the variety of brush strokes and techniques that you employ, because it's very varied among the paintings, from more modern flat resins to these really deep, like half-inch thick oil paintings that feel very 19th century to me. It's just your array of technical ability is so diverse. I'm in awe of that, but at the same time, I think there's something inherently spiritual about the work. And I wanted to ask you a number of questions about that aspect of your work, because I know that you said that you find painting to be meditative, and I wonder if you could just walk me through how that feels, or what that process looks like when you first discovered that, and how you've made it part of your painting practice.
Well, I've spent a lot of time doing um, repetitive practices such as the japa mala, repeating mantras and whatnot, and taking japa walks and blue pearl courses in India and whatnot. Not that I'm claiming to be anywhere with it, but it's just I realize that divinity is found in repetition and achieved through it, and that the more I've owned subject matters, the more I've repeated them, the less I've struggled with what am I going to paint, and I just get into the meat of painting and explore all these new ideas. Diamond dust is now in my work.
Yeah.
Metal powders. I'm now doing glass sculpture and metal sculptures and light boxes, and I kind of came with Henry Geltzeller liked my watercolors a lot, and I arrived at a lot of what I do in paint through the watercolor. And then I started doing these little 10 by 8 inch, what I call warm-up paintings every morning, pretty much. And I'm kind of like drawing my ideas out in paint, and then they lead to these larger things. But it's just the act of doing it. I just don't feel whole or complete if I'm not painting, and I get still a thrill from doing it and completing things, and leaving things out. I mean, so much of this in my life is about daring to stop instead of continue. I mean, I've done 25-foot paintings that took me 6 years to complete.
Yeah.
Not so much of that anymore. I just did a 100-foot painting that took me weeks or months. But I have to do those in sections. But mostly I like to paint wet into wet. I consider each mark that I make like saying a holy word.
Okay.
It's inscribed into the paint. And so the act of doing that puts me in sort of a state of channeling. It's not like my conscious thoughts are involved with any of this. And I work with a lot of mediums and healers regularly. So and also I have this other side to what I do, which is installation. I've restored and own 7 national landmark homes that were not in great shape when I got them, and I've turned them into works of art.
How did that start? How did the first house happen?
Well, I used to dream about them as a child, and my grandparents were a big influence on me. My grandmother was a big collector, and my grandfather used to send me cocoons as a little kid. I would come home from school, and there would be a cecropia moth flying around in my room that just hatched, and one of the great American moths, which not so many people know about. It's like Luna, Prometheus, Cecropius, Io, and sometimes a silk moth. We were just talking about that because I may do this in sculpture as well.
Yeah.
But these are like the pivotal things that are American and great and unique and almost extinct, you know. And so through my grandparents, my grandmother was raised a lot of plants and things. I now have greenhouses. I've raised orchids since I was a kid in Hawaii, and I still do that. I have them at 3 of my homes in Louisiana and upstate. We just created a big greenhouse as well, and I just get some inherent thrill from playing with nature and creating these beautiful environments that are like time travel to other periods. It's nothing. I'm not looking forward so much when I'm creating all this. I'm putting pieces of the past back together. And some of it's my stuff. You know, I do wallpapers and fabrics, and I try to save old furniture and make it a little bit more contemporary that way, but it's not um, the, in the forefront of what I'm thinking. I'm just gathering these fragments. It's like I used to collect shells on the beach, and that's what collecting furniture and old paintings is like for me now.
And right now, antiques are not very popular in
Well,
the
they're
US.
very popular right now. You can't buy anything at auction
Oh,
anymore.
they are? Okay.
COVID, they're off the charts again.
Oh, so they've made a comeback. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get things in funky places as
Yeah.
well. So I have people that find them for me, and I go to auctions and do get a good deal once in a while. But I've been doing this for so long. I have a whole armory full of stuff.
Great.
I have a
And but speaking of armory, don't you have an armory?
yeah.
Yeah, that's in Pennsylvania. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think if
The
I'm
way,
right, a very historical place where
yeah,
some of the founding fathers frequented.
not founding fathers. This was
No.
after the Civil War, but it may have been part of the Underground Railroad. And we have 20 miles of tunnels and rooms that are 50 feet with 40-foot ceilings. And I've just played with all the rooms and turned them in. It looks like an English country house or something. And I just get such a thrill out of doing it, but not as much as I get out of painting. But
Yeah.
somehow I like to mix the two in shows. I've had a lot of shows recently. I had one at the Roanoke Museum recently called Huntopia, which was great, where we borrowed things from the collection, permanent collection. I loved Warhol's show, Raid the Refrigerator. Took things from the Newport Museum and mixed everything up. And it's sort of like time travel. And there's a part of American history that's not terribly popular where people built these great places, and it wasn't just that they were extravagant or enormous for no reason. They were really very mystical. I mean, I have rooms in some of my houses that are twirling chambers where have actually been taken to higher realms.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of mystical association with all of this.
In
Not
all, yeah, I was gonna say not in all, but more in Louisiana? Or
no, oh
no?
no, not at all.
Just depends on the house.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay. Well, I didn't know that. And speaking of that type of thing, did you see the show of Helma af Klint at the Guggenheim?
yes,
What did you think of that?
love it, fabulous.
And the most successful exhibition in its history, I think I read. People really connected with those paintings that were all about the spiritual realm.
Yeah, well, people are starting to be open to that
Yeah.
big way.
I feel that your paintings hold some of the energy that you've used to create them. Is that a fair thing to say? Do you feel that way about them?
I do, but I'm not enforcing it as a given because
You got to be open to it, right?
I'm not sure everybody would see it that way. But that's my intention, and and I have shown in a lot of places, everywhere from India to Moscow to you know Haiti to whatever, and I had a show in the Museo Marte in El Salvador. That was really good because I got to speak to children, and I was telling them about the varieties of bird life that they're surrounded by that they don't see, hear, know. Um, it's just great to go there with a collection of what my interests are and share an environment with the people who are surrounded by it and think nothing of it. It's amazing,
Right.
especially in this age when we have these fires
Yeah.
eating up everything in the rainforest and
Yeah.
Australia, and billions of animals are being lost that were probably never even known before. Not
Right.
that this hasn't been going on since the beginning of time, but it's kind of scary that it's happening so much in this particular age.
We are able to destroy at such a faster rate right now.
Well, I don't know how much we have to do with it. I
Well,
think the bigger plan, but you know, there were. I mean, the Sahara Desert used to be a jungle.
right.
I mean, there have been losses and gains forever, but the rainforest represents 60 million years of evolution, and it just burned down in the last year practically.
Right.
It's so frightening to me. So anyway, my work has been trying to point to benefits of 60 million years of evolution and diverse animal and plant life people and make them proud of it and aware of it. And I've seen so many things become popular at this time that we never even heard of. I mean, I remember going to Japan as a kid, and there were ornamental kale flowers in all the window sills.
Yeah.
Now they're sold at Home Depot and Walmart. It's common, and the Phalaenopsis orchid is like a dandelion now,
Yes.
and
I
it
know.
was the rarest of a decorative corsage ornament that women could wear in the 50s or 60s. I still love the Cattleya orchid the best, which is not still. But, bromeliads we see everywhere now. And you never knew what a bromeliad was in the
I
first.
know. I know.
Amazing. And the varieties of fruits and vegetables. That part of it's kind of fabulous.
Yeah, that's true.
Tortilla flower. Anyway, so, we're bouncing around with all of this happening, but it's
Yeah.
the best part of being on the planet for me.
How how is it for you? Do you try to get out into nature? I know that there's so many demands on your time and you want to be in the studio. So you've got a lot of plants, you've got orchids, you've got the birds there. So is your solution to bring them into your space?
No, I get out. I go away every Friday. As I
Yeah.
said, I have a lot of homes, and I have gardens and conservatories and all of them. And I do my installation work at the houses constantly. Nothing's ever complete or done or finished, and it's just, every treasure that I find, I don't have a particular place in mind, but it emerges the minute I walk in the door. Third voice saying, "Put that over there," or I'll wake up in the middle of the night and like I had a thing at one of my houses in the south where um, the mantles had been smashed during the war, and they had replaced them with these wooden ones. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I went, "Oh my God, the wooden ones came from the third floor of the house," and I started replacing them with good marble ones. And they exactly fit, and they had the name of the builder of the house from 1830 written on the back. So you get these little intuitions of how
Wow.
it should be or what it could be.
Yeah. Do you work with historical restoration people?
I do not,
No.
but I don't do anything to change or alter anything. I just try to bring it back. Um, and we make lots of discoveries along the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
What had been
Yeah.
changed over those long years. And it's just lots of fun for me, and I recreate gardens all the time. And it's so fun to work with semi-tropical stuff and gingers and gardenias and banana trees and bromeliads that grow outside year-round. It's
Yeah.
just incredible fun.
Well, I know that you are short on time, and Allison and I discussed this timeline. So I just wanted to say thank you for making the time to sit down and talk to me a little bit about your background.
Sorry I'm not there in person. I would
Well,
love to be
yeah, maybe in a
here.
year or two, we'll get you up
Yeah,
here and take you antiquing, which
I
was,
know. I love people. It
yeah,
sounds wonderful.
we'll we'll get it done. Eat lots. Do you like lobster?
Who does? And well, some people don't. Yes, I do. I
Why
do.
not, right? Well,
Crawfish.
thank you, Hunt. Thanks for sharing your.
Nice to speak with you.
Yeah. Sorry, what'd you say?
I said nice to speak with you.
Nice to speak with you too, and thank you for sharing your beautiful paintings and all the beautiful things of your world with me and my business. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. I hope to see you soon.
Sounds
Take
good.
care.
You too. Bye bye.